saw a question that someone posed in a YouTube channel that said, is the reaction to COVID 19 torture? And at first I thought, wow, that's kind of strong. But then I decided, yeah, it is torture. We are being tortured. We are being tortured because we're told we can't shop without a mask. I refuse to wear a mask. And so I walk into the store, kind of bristled, waiting for somebody to say, why aren't you wearing a mask? Or you can't shop here. They don't, they haven't yet. But we are being tortured. Schools are not, or so should be opening in August, but are all over the country. They're decided, well, maybe not. Maybe we'll open a little bit, maybe we won't. What the heck is wrong with these people? This is driving me totally insane. When have we ever worn masks or done the social distancing thing for any virus? We have the flu every year. We have it twice a year, in the fall and in the spring. And yet, we don't put on masks. We don't do the social distancing thing. We didn't close schools. We didn't close stores. We didn't close anything. We just kept going. What the heck is wrong? And people say, well, this virus is different. No, so what? It has a less than 1% mortality rate. Less than 1%. And oh, but we wear masks. Well, Keisha Lance Bottoms was filmed wearing a mask in the Black Lives Matter protest, and guess what? She tested positive. And guess what? She tested positive for COVID. And hopefully, because that's what we're supposed to do, she will quarantine herself for 14 days and give over her contact list to some contact tracer, and anybody who is in touch with her for 14 days will also be quarantined. Don't hold your breath. It probably will not happen to her. However, she will say she is self-quarantining, and that'll be enough. A man was arrested in Minnesota for refusing to self-quarantine. You know, this has gotten ridiculous. It's what drives me nuts is the mask thing. We keep having doctors coming forward saying the masks aren't doing you any good. In fact, they're making you sick, and healthy people shouldn't wear masks. And yet nobody seems to be paying attention to that data because that doesn't fit their narrative. They want us all to be scared to death. Bill had a YouTube taken down by a doctor talking about the virus and saying, look, don't be afraid of this virus. And we think that might be why they took it down. Because they want us scared. They want us incapable. They want us to not be able to do what we need to do in order to survive. They want the economy to continue to tank. They want kids to be out of school because that creates chaos and trouble. Masks don't do you any good, okay? I've read way too much stuff on them to believe they do. Not only that, but I see women rifling through their purse to pull their mask out. Oh yeah? Rifling through a purse with your cell phone in it probably. Where has your cell phone been? Have you been sanitizing your cell phone? Have you sanitized everything in your purse? No! You just put the same mask on you put on yesterday. You don't change it like your underwear. You just keep it in your purse and put it on when you have to. What the heck is in your mask? And then you see people, eating and drinking and smoking and doing all kinds of things. And they drop the mask on the ground and they pick it up and they put it on. Come on. This is insanity. They're touching their face. They're adjusting their masks. It's just insane. They don't do anything, and they probably make you sicker because you're breathing all that stuff in and it's not necessarily all coming out. When have we done this? This is insane. We keep seeing the numbers of deaths are down, the numbers of cases are up. Well, you're testing more people. It's just like Keisha Lance Bottoms. I'm positive for COVID-19, but I don't have any symptoms and I feel great. Well, lady, it was probably a false positive. I hate to tell you, but those tests are not accurate. They have a huge number of false negatives, a number of false positives. We have information on tests, 50 tests, that personal information of 50 tests in a small county, in a small town, that the people who had the test, the hospital, marked them positive and they hadn't been used. We had the Lexington, South Carolina coroner saying they reported that we had 6 COVID deaths today. I don't know where they're getting that number. We had one. One. And she's the coroner. You think she would know how many people died in her area, in her county? Come on, guys. We all know this whole thing is just ridiculous. I'm not saying people aren't getting sick. But the numbers you can't trust any of the numbers. None of them. You cannot trust the numbers from even the CDC had to admit that the tests were tainted. They were tainted, which means that they're not going to give the right results. The masks don't necessarily work. The tests are tainted. The number of deaths is being manipulated. We know we're being lied to. We know this is how. My question is, when is this going to end? And my guess is it all ends November 4th. And I'm going to say this. We've said this before. I'm saying it again. Look at Seattle. Look at Atlanta. Look at New York City. This is what America is going to be if we don't make sure that we take over the House, meaning the GOP, and we gain seats in the Senate, and we re-elect this president. And I cannot say this stronger. You may not like Republicans. They may not be your cup of tea. But they are not anarchists. They are not Marxists, and they're not rolling over. Not all of them. Some of them. We're darn sure better off to have Republicans in office than Democrats any day of the week. We've seen what they do, and we see what our country will be. You know, that ad that the Trump campaign plays, it where you dial 911 and no, sorry, nobody's here. We'll get back to you in 5 days. That's not so far-fetched. They're trying to defund the police. They're trying to take away this. They want this country brought to its knees, just like they're trying to get people on their knees before the anthem. They're tearing this country apart. And I'm telling you, we've said it before. I'll say it again. This is a spiritual battle, and we're only going to win this battle by falling on our knees and falling on our faces and crying out to God for mercy, and at the same time standing up for what we believe. Standing up for our country. They cannot get away with we cannot allow them to tear down our history. I don't care one twit about a statue here or there, although artistically, some of them are beautiful. That's not the point. You can't just say, I don't like that statue and I'm going to tear it down. It represents something I don't like. That's not the way things should work. You shouldn't just be able to determine, I'm going to take over this part of a city. That's not the way we are. That's not who we are. This is America. We are the country of... That's not who we are. This is America. We are a country of law and order. But the problem, as I see it, is John Adams said, and I'm not going to quote this completely. I have it written down somewhere, but I don't know where that note is. This is paraphrase. This Constitution is meant to govern a religious and moral people. It is of no use otherwise. And that's the problem we have. We have a godless segment of our population who is trying to push God out, trying to push out law and order, trying to push Marxism on us. And we have to pray, and we have to vote, and we have to speak out. And speaking of speaking out, I've lost all my Twitter accounts. They have completely shut me down again. But before, I only lost one of them. Now I had 3. I lost all 3 of them. One of them had 89.9 thousand followers. Folks, it's a battle. I don't know if I'll get them back or not, but it is a battle. And this time I had to create a new Gmail account. I had to, because they wouldn't let me create a new Twitter account. I don't know if I'll be back on Twitter, but this is a war, and we must win. God bless you. God bless our president. And God bless the United States of America, the greatest country that has ever been and will be again. Goodbye.